On this episode of the Whiskey Tornado, we review the Wolves Willett Rye collaboration, Batch 2, and I let you guys know if this $300 rye is worth chasing. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Tornado. I'm your host, Lance, and today I am excited to review the Wolves Willett Rye collaboration, where we are going to be reviewing a $300 rye. And before I even get started, I have to send a huge shout out to our Patreon community. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Without you guys, there is no way I would have ever spent $300 on a bottle. Now, do I think you should go spend $300 on a rye? No. But the reason we do these reviews on these hard to find ryes or bourbons is because you might run across this in a bar and you might be tempted to buy it. Will you buy a $300 rye? Most of you probably not, but if you see a pour in a bar for $30 to $50, would it intrigue you enough to pull the trigger and get that pour to be able to taste something that's really rare and really allocated? So the only way I'm able to review these products is because of our Patreon community. So thank you guys so much. All right, so what we've got here is Wolves out of California collaborated with Willett. Wolves had some, I believe, sourced Indiana 51% rye 6-year barrels, and they blended those with 6 to 7 year Willett family estate rye barrels. And came up with this collaboration. Now, they released a batch last year that came in at 103 proof. This is the exact same blend, but not watered down. So this is at barrel proof, and it's at 114.7 proof. So we're gonna taste it today. We're gonna give it the Whiskey Tornado score. Then we're gonna taste it against batch 1, because I still have some batch 1 left, and I bunkered a bottle because I really enjoyed batch 1. For those of you new to the Whiskey Tornado, I'll quickly review our scoring system for you guys. If you guys have heard this a million times, use the timestamps below, skip ahead to the section that you want to see. Here on the Whiskey Tornado, we have 7 categories. We rank 0 to 1. A score of 0.5 is an average score. We have 2 handicapped categories. Those handicapped categories are appearance and availability. And then we talk about the nose, the palate, the finish, the body, and value. Any score of 3 or better means it's bar worthy. Feel safe buying that for your bar. Any score of 4 or better means bunker some just in case the bourbon you love is no longer made. All right, guys, with all that being said, let's get into the appearance of Wolves Willett Rye Project 1 collaboration, Batch 2. All right, guys, so as you can see, the appearance on this bottle is absolutely stunning. I believe Wolves does wine as well, and they have managed to, since they're doing whiskey now, they've managed to get a glass bottle that is the perfect synergy of wine and whiskey, in my opinion. It is just a gorgeous bottle. The cork also is meant to look like the end of a baseball bat. The owners are big Dodgers fans, and as you can see there, it is just a gorgeous cork. The label, super modern, super clean. I love it. The only knock I would say is, you know, the Wolves logo, the W is really small. You can barely see it. But the Willett crest is really big. And if you didn't know any better, you might just look at this and think this was a Willett release. So that's the only knock I would have, but it is a gorgeous bottle. And I think almost perfect. I love it. And the more it sits on the shelf, the more I love it. So I'm gonna give the appearance a 0.9. All right, the availability on this bottle is very limited. I know you guys are probably mad I'm reviewing a limited, expensive bottle, but again, I think this will help you. If you happen to see it at a bar, you'll know whether to pull the trigger and pay $30 to $50 for a pour of this. The availability is very hard to find. I did not find this on a shelf. I did get it for MSRP, but Ray at Harvest Market called me and asked me if I wanted this. I said yes, I would for our channel. Otherwise, I would have passed on this bottle due to the price. But since our Patreon members are so generous, we were able to get this bottle so I could review it to you guys and send some samples to our Patreon members. Availability very limited. You could also get online and order if you're in a state that allows you to do that when this came out. But availability again is limited. We're gonna give it a 0.1. All right, guys, let's get a pour of this beautiful, beautiful rye. And like I said, this is coming in at 57.35%. So this is batch 2. Batch 1 came in at 51.5%. So not much difference in proof there for, you know, a $300 rye. So let's get into the nose and see what we get. Man, the nose is good so far. It's definitely darker than I remember batch 1 being. The first thing I got was like honeyed raisins on the nose. There's definitely like some plums, some like, not like sugary grapes, but if you've ever had those like dark grapes right off of a vineyard vine, the skin of those, which is more like earthy, but still has that grape flavor without all the sweetness. That's what I'm getting on the nose here. And I often get that in Willett products. So on the nose, I'm getting a little bit of that Willett backbone, but it's really nice. What I'm looking for, if I remember right on the first batch, I was getting a lot of like lemon lime citrus on batch 1. And I'm sure that's coming from the MGP rye. Generally with MGP ryes, I will get either lemon lime citrus on the nose and the palate, or sometimes I'll get almost like a piney peppermint note. I'm not getting either of those on this, so that's kind of interesting that I remember getting so much citrus on batch 1. I'm not getting citrus on this one. It's just really nice, grapey, dark plums, dark raisins, honey. And then almost, and I always get this with Willett products, just a hint of like floral honeysuckle on the nose. But the nose is really nice. I'm gonna give it a 0.7. I don't think it's to that exceptional level where I'm completely blown away, but it's close. It's really, really good. 0.7 on the nose. All right, moving on to the palate. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, that's nice. Really rich. Man, is that rich. Caramel. Almost a pear note there. Definitely getting those like dark plums that I was talking about on the nose. I wouldn't say raisins, but definitely like a dark plummy note. Really kind of jammy. That was good. Let me take a second sip here. Just a little bit of that citrus coming through that I was talking about that I got on the first, but not near as much that I can remember. Again, we're gonna taste it and do a side-by-side here in a minute. The citrus is there, but it's very faint. More plummy, honey, floral notes, grapey notes again. It's got that Willett backbone. And again, if you're like scared of Willett pot still bourbon, I'm not a big fan of it, but I do like a lot of other Willett products. I like Purple Tops. I like Hirsch 6-year. And I love this Willett collaboration that Wolves and Willett did. So I clearly do like a lot of Willett products. I just think I don't like the Willett bourbon. But this is really nice, really well balanced. I'm gonna take a third sip here. Coats the palate really nice. Wow. Lots of barrel spice here. Lots of like jalapeno peppery spice just dancing all over my tongue. Long finish. Really nice. The palate is good. Again, I don't know that it's in that, well, I do know. To me, it's not in that exceptional category. It's not in that, like, usually 0.8s or better is what I rate as an exceptional whiskey, exceptional rye or bourbon. This is getting close to that, but it's not blowing me away, especially not for $300. I mean, that's just such a high price point to live up to. And I don't think this quite does that. I would give the palate a 0.7 on this. It's really good, but it's not exceptional. I think if you had this blind, you would enjoy what you had, but there's no way I think you would peg this as more than, you know, an $80 rye. All right, moving on to the body. The body is exceptional on this. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but it is oily. It sticks to the glass. It coats your mouth. It is a beautiful body, even at 114 proof. So we are going to give the body a 0.8. It is exceptional. All right, moving on to the finish. I'm going to take one more sip here. God, that's enjoyable, man. If it wasn't for the price point, if this were an $80 rye, even maybe a $100 rye, I'd be going crazy over it. $300 though. What I do love, my favorite part about this entire rye, and I don't know if this is because this is my first glass of the day, but the peppery spice just lingers and lingers. The finish goes on forever. It is an amazing finish, and I think one of the knocks I had on the first Wolves Willett collaboration, batch 1, was that the finish was short. This fixed that. The finish is long, really nice. I'm going to give it a 0.9. I am absolutely in love with the finish. It goes on forever. And again, this is my first glass, so I'm kind of wondering if I'm rating it too high, but it feels like it goes on forever. All right, now the part you've all been waiting for. Is it worth $289? Well, we're gonna pour batch 1. I have batch 1 here. I'm gonna set aside, I'm gonna set right here batch 2, and we are gonna pour batch 1, and we're gonna taste them side by side. I'm gonna let you guys know if I think it's worth an extra $150 bucks. I honestly can't remember what batch 1 is, but we'll find out. So here we go. Batch 1 is on my right, batch 2 on my left. Batch 1, definitely more of the citrus comes through like I thought. Batch 2 definitely just smells darker, more rich, as it should. It's a higher proof. Let's go in for the taste on batch 1. Batch 1 is still beautiful. Again, you know, I might price that at a $70 rye, not up to the value. Go for batch 2 here. Yeah, I mean, I knew I was gonna like batch 2 better because of the higher proof point. The finish is longer, it's richer, it's darker. It tames down those citrus notes that were so heavy on batch 1 and moves more to like a plummy, jammy kind of thing. But it's really great. Batch 2, that finish is so long. Golly, that's the highlight of this for me. It's just a beautiful finish. But again, $289, there's no way this is worth that. Now, would I try it in a bar? Absolutely. But it's just the value's not there. I'm going to give the value a 0.1. You know, this is the way prices are going with bourbons and ryes and limited releases, and it's frustrating. But I also know how expensive it is to get Willett barrels. So an aged MGP stock is becoming harder and harder to find. So, you know, 6-year ryes is an older rye. So, you know, I know they've got to price it a little bit expensive, but, you know, great packaging, all that, but I still think the value is really low on this. I'm going to give it a 0.1. If this were around, you know, $100, then it would be, you know, right at that average mark for me. So value is a 0.1. So that brings the overall score for Wolves Willett Collaboration Rye Project Batch 2 to a 3.7. It is bar worthy if you have the coin to dish out, you know, the $300. If $300 is not much to you, I would buy this. I think you will love it. That being said, for 99% of people, $300 is way too much to spend on a bourbon. And I would just get a pour of it at a bar. All right, guys, I hope that helps you decide what to buy and what to leave on the shelves. Let me know what you think about the increase in limited release prices. It's getting crazy out there, but I hope this helps you guys decide whether to buy this in a bar or just ignore it altogether. Thank you again to our Patreon community for helping support this channel so I can review these kinds of bottles for you guys so you don't waste your money. All right, till next time, cheers, everybody.
Shh.